Oh yeah, I almost forgot to actually do one of these prediction thingies. Where do I think all the drivers are going to be in 2027? And based on the fact that I pretty much forgot to do this, tells you that I really don't think it's going to be that exciting. Yes, I do get your point. There is understandably a sense that there might be mayhem like there was in 2022. However, I do think the majority of the chaos of 2026 may be on the track rather than what's going on behind the scenes in contract negotiation. I'm just going to rattle through what I think are going to be my 2027 lineup predictions, and let you get on with your day on this Sunday. To begin with, let's start with Sergio Perez and Valtteri Bottas. I believe they're pretty much going to stay with Cadillac, because this is pretty much just a continuation of their development cycle, Cadillac. I don't think either driver are going to be looking for pastures new, because they are headed toward the sunset of their career. And yes, I know, Lewis and Fernando have proven that they can defy the laws of aging. But for many drivers, this is pretty much their last chance to try and make any sort of big impact, unless you're Nico Hülkenberg, the third oldest driver on the grid. I feel like that Cadillac will want to maintain this continuity for at least one more year, and actually see what Colton Herta is doing over in Formula 2. Or maybe if some other teams decide to maybe take a chance at maybe entertaining an idea with Cadillac. Or if Ferrari have some ideas regarding maybe where to put their certain Formula Driver Academy hopefuls, you know, Rafa Kamara maybe. But for now, I really don't see any other option. As for Aston Martin, I'm just going to keep it conventional. It's really going to be Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll. They're really going to have to do everything in their power to keep Fernando for 2027, one more year until the Aston Martin project can come good. And Lance, well, as I've said time and time again, his contract is as long as a piece of string. However, I do have a spicy version just to keep you entertained that little bit longer. And it might be a situation where maybe if Fernando Alonso can convince Carlos Sainz to come over and succeed him taking on the role of ambassador alongside his buddy Pedro de la Rosa, then we might get a nice little healthy Spanish trinity leading Aston Martin into maybe somewhere where they can really challenge for the top four. And then if Lance Stroll decides to pack it in, or the Stroll family abandon ship and leave it to, well, whoever wants to take on the naming rights and what have you, Yuki Tsunoda, Honda deciding to maybe get more of a grip towards this team. But again, this is the Spanner version. This is not one I'm actually using as my final call. I do think they are going to keep it relatively boring. Then with Racing Bulls, I do not think they're going to be as cutthroat as we have seen in the past. We all are looking at Nicolas Solov in Formula 2 and thinking, well, it's only a matter of time until he replaces Liam Lawson. That's just what the succession plan's always been. Well, I don't think so, because the Red Bull Junior program's only got one Formula 2 driver. And unless Nicola wins the F2 championship, he is probably going to be remaining in Formula 2 for at least another season. So it makes me think that the combination of Lawson and Lindblad may remain for 2027, just for the sake of continuity and develop the second team into this new regulation cycle. And Liam has very much shown himself to have potential as a leader, and I think Liam will be able to demonstrate some elements of being a good leader, and Lindblad will just continue on, trying to build some goodwill in terms of British fans towards the Red Bull project. Him being the first British driver for Red Bull Group since David Coulthard. It's been that long. Then for Williams, I do suspect it will be Carlos Sainz and Alex Albon. And as I alluded to in my Aston Martin little take, it would take a really spannery spicy version to see anything otherwise. If I were to do a spicy version and Carlos did jump ship, who would succeed him over at Williams? Well, it wouldn't surprise me if James Vowles decides to take a little bit of a punt, because if Carlos did leave, it would be a huge blow for Williams' credibility. They would need to try and regain it. And it wouldn't surprise me if they try and get back Franco Colapinto, because he was a Williams Junior driver and said that his heart was always with Williams, that he would never forget what James did for him in getting some global exposure. And James is a cult figure within Argentina, so if Alpine were to abandon Franco for either Alex Dunn, if he were to win the F2 title, or if Paul Aaron did get a call-up, it wouldn't surprise me if James took him back on to fill in the gap. That's just what I would think in a spicy version, but let me reiterate, my main call is Carlos and Alex yet again. Then Audi, Bortoleto, Hülkenberg. As I said in recent videos, these two are really, really good together, and Nico is especially zesty with Gabriel. He teases him non-stop like a big brother. They just really get on well. Bortoleto's on the up and up and up, and Nico is still one of the best reference drivers in the midfield. Really, really suited for the Audi project. And if they continue to improve, then Nico could be on course for getting more podiums, maybe. I could easily imagine Nico staying at Audi for as long as they all have him. So I don't see really any changes there. Now, Haas. Oof. Well, there was a long time before Ferrari really showed their hand in testing where I thought that this could have been an opportunity for them to change their lineup yet again, with Behrman going off to succeed someone at Ferrari, and Ocon, well, kind of in danger because he did fall below expectations from Ayo Komatsu. He openly admits it, Ayo. But now, I feel like they might decide to keep it going for at least one more year. Behrman not really having anywhere to go because Lewis and Charles... Oh, no, wait, the spoilers. No, wait for that. Oliver will probably stick around for one more year because there might not be anywhere else to go. And as for Ocon, well, I don't think that Komatsu-san would throw Esteban on his arse or anything like that. Unless Jack Doohan was able to prove a big case and Toyota was able to back him up, or Rafael Camara wins the F2 title. And if he does do that, Ferrari is going to want him in Formula 1 pronto. And if he can't do it at Cadillac, they're probably more likely going to try and convince Haas to take on the young Brazilian. It might be the catalyst to see Ferrari and Toyota starting to get a little bit antsy and working together with this particular team. We'll have to wait and see with that one. But for now, I'm just going to say Behrman and Ocon again. And then for Alpine, Gasly and Colapinto. Gasly's contracted through 2028, so that's not really an issue. And Colapinto, he's only in year 2 with his 5-year deal with the team. And I know it includes either reserve duties or mainline duties, but Steve Nielsen, the team principal, reckons that Franco is a slow burner. This has been his first full winter campaign. I'm really excited to see where he can go. And if he can get some solid points, and as I predicted in my main predictions video, get somewhere 12th or 13th, that will probably be more than enough to secure his services for at least another season. And I know you're probably going to be saying, well, whose sponsors are keeping him there anyway? Well, at the moment, sir or madam, Mercado Libre, his main backer, are not affiliated with Alpine, them re-evaluating their place in Formula 1, especially since they're also backing the likes of Gabi and Checo. Only Claro, I think, is the major sponsor of Franco at the moment, so he's really there mostly on merit and belief from the hires up of Alpine, including Fabio Briatore. So that lineup, not changing, in my opinion. Then McLaren, Norris and Piastri. I know you're probably thinking, well, Oscar's going to try and move somewhere else. Well, now, where? There is really nowhere else, and he seems quite planted at that team. I actually feel like it's more likely that Lando Norris, if this year doesn't go well for him, may decide to just scuttle off into retirement. That is probably more likely than Oscar abandoning ship and undoing all of the good work in being the really good person at McLaren who plays ball with the PR department. But for now, Lando and Oscar, they're contracted, so no need to change that. Same goes for Verstappen and Hadjar. Verstappen has recently said that even though he thinks that Red Bull will not be in contention for winning big races anytime soon, they have made a lot more improvements than he first expected. That power unit is pretty good, and there is plenty of room for improvement. Hadjar, I believe he'll get another season. I really don't see him being dropped after 1 year. So that's all I've got to say about that one. And then Mercedes, same thing goes with Russell and Antonelli. I really do not see them changing things up. George getting that option he so wanted, either through winning the championship this year, or by proving that he is still on the level of Kimi Antonelli. Unless those two have a bit of a bust-up, which could easily happen, because Antonelli did ruffle Russell's feathers, quite a few times in 2025. But for now, they're both Mercedes junior drivers, the alumni. I don't really see them moving anywhere else. And then Ferrari, Leclerc, and Hamilton. If Ferrari continue their good trend from testing, and they've actually shown an upward trend from 2025, which realistically isn't that hard, then I really don't see them going anywhere else. I don't think Lewis is going to retire. He seems quite motivated again. And Leclerc, I think his faith in Ferrari has been restored. So I don't see him going anywhere else. I don't see Hamilton dropping it. That's all I got to say. That's my lineup, folks, and this might be relatively short for you, but I actually think it's quite easy to call most of these. Not much change is going to happen, I think. But do let me know what you think in the comments as to what your lineups might be. And in the meantime, while you're thinking about it, go and check out this video for your consideration. I'll see you over there.